Okay, I served with the 5th Battalion, 7th Cav Division, part of Garyon. We were part of the 1st and 7th Cav Division in Vietnam. I got to go to Panama for the survivor course. They sent like 50 of us down there, and then we came back and we trained at Fort Carson, Colorado. And they brought 9 Hueys in from Texas, and then we went over on a ship over to Vietnam. And then first operation we did in Vietnam was Operation Highway 1, taking out them snipers. There was a lot of snipers over there. We took out a lot of snipers. And then from then in September in 66, we went down to the Mongrels. Then they had, we made a big hit down there. I guess the 1st CAD Division lost their colors in Korea War. Well, we won them back in 66 of September. We had a bunch of people with cameras and dogs and all kinds of stuff with us, and at that time, and so I was pretty lucky. I never got shot when I was there.
Could you go in a little bit more into detail and depth on what that means?
Oh yeah, I guess they might not know.
Yeah, you guys know.
Yeah, would you like to explain what it meant to gain your colors back, or what it meant to lose your colors?
Well, I guess the way I took it, Westmoreland says they lost their colors because they were supposed to take care of a hill, and they retreated off that hill. And when we went back in Vietnam, we captured and killed more VCs over there in 30 days than anybody over there. And then we operated with 173rd Airborne, 101 Airborne, and the Marines up there. We were blocking up there, DMZ, and then so now I used to be a tunnel rat because I was a small little guy. So I got picked to be a tunnel rat, and I used to be a sniper also. So I mean, I was so lucky not to get wounded or shot down or anything. I was like somebody had to be protecting me. But I was. Then they brought me. After my tour, they sent me to California on a C-141, and then I was quarantined for 3.5 days because I had worms in my stomach from eating raunchy food like horses and cows get. And then I had warts, and I had jungle rot, and on down the line, and I couldn't even call home until they got rid of everything. My machine gunner, John Harris, he caught black syphilis over there in Vietnam. He couldn't come back to the United States. So there was, I mean, we were kind of messed up in the heads, I guess, all of us, you know, from all the stuff. You know, we came back, and then we landed there at the airport. I remember seeing a bunch of hippies out there saying baby killers and all kinds of stuff. And so from then on, I just didn't want to say I even fought in Vietnam. I didn't want to be a veteran. I didn't want nothing, you know. So then I went to work in Rock Springs at the coal mine, Jim Bridger coal mine. And I used to teach high school rodeo over there. And then I got involved with wild horse racing, so I took my frustration out on the horses. So then I became a contract chairman with the Rocky Mountain Wild Horse Race Association. So we rodeoed all over. I had to do a lot of PR work, you know, so that was kind of neat. So I got to be kind of famous, and I got to hang around with Chris Ledoux, and he used to call me Little Joe the Wrangler. So I wore yellow suspenders. I was a shank man, and I was the smallest shank man out there. And don't ask me how I stopped the horse did it, but it all happened. It worked good. So I mean, became kind of famous there. So it was neat through my whole life, and I'm still pretty lucky. All the broken bones I've had in my body, I don't have arthritis. Been pretty lucky on everything, I guess. So, but I didn't even want to come to this thing, but they finally talked me into it, and so I came because the way the government treated me is like, you know, like I was just a crazy Vietnam vet through everything I went through. So everything I did, I just tried to say I wasn't a Vietnam vet. I just, you know, just a regular person, you know. So, but that's why these guys here that came here for this first time, it's kind of, it's neat coming to this reunion, you know. It brought a lot of life, brought me into this. meeting a lot of people and sharing, and kind of brought me back to the friends that I lost in Vietnam. Right now, I try to even look for friends, on the internet and all that, people that I served with in Vietnam, 5th to 7th Cav. I was in B Company. I can't find nobody. I wish I could, but it'd be kind of nice to find somebody. But as far as I know, they're all dead, And don't ask me why I'm still alive. I'm still doing good and good health, So that's it. Anything else?
Yeah. Would you want to go ahead and state your name and where you're from in Wyoming?
Oh yeah, my name is Joe Martinez, and I'm from Cheyenne, Wyoming. And
real quick, you were born and raised in Cheyenne?
I was born and raised in Cheyenne, yes sir.
Did you enlist or were you drafted?
No, I got myself in trouble like a little kid, ran around with a bunch of guys, and they caught us drinking, and went before the judge. He says, you either going to go to jail or you want to go to Vietnam. So I had to pick Vietnam. That was the choice I had. So
How old?
I was 18 years old. So I went in the Army, and we went down to Denver. And we all got drunk down there. They didn't even check our bodies over. They just said, you're in. So I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri from there. And I was on KP all the time. And then from there, they shipped me to Fort Carson, Colorado. And then I stayed there. And then we made 5th to 7th Cav there. There was no such thing as 5th to 7th Cav. And I was in B Company. And so it was like I was a grunt all the time. And being small, of course, I had to be a tunnel rat. And I didn't want it, but I had to, Somebody had to do it. So, but
Go ahead.
I was pretty lucky. Going in them tunnels, and I think that's probably why the spiders and all that. I used to handle all that stuff when I was a kid, but that didn't bother me. Coming out of there, I even woke up one time with we were sleeping on this clay ground, and woke up with this big old rat about the size of a cat on my arms, And then I looked at that thing, I said, oh man. And from then you just start getting all these crazy things. And I understand how a lot of these veterans are can't stand talking about it and stuff. I could talk about it. It doesn't bother me. It took me a long time to talk about all this stuff. But, you finally just have to break down to somebody and talk to them. And then finally it starts coming. I've talked to a lot of these guys. They still can't talk to just anybody. They have to talk to just the people that were there in Vietnam. Now it's it, So that's about it, I guess. You got anything else to ask me?
I was curious on to be chosen as a tunnel rat. Was there anything else besides your height? You think? I mean, did they just line?
Well, maybe it's because I went to Panama.
Went
to Panama, yeah. Went to Panama for that survival course, and I passed it. That probably had a lot to do with it, And that's what I think they picked me out to be a sniper there in Vietnam. Sniper was very scary notion. You go out. The first sniper we had, his last name was Root. He went out, and he never came back. We never did find his body. So being a sniper, I went out. I found it's about the 4th time I think I went out, and I caught these VCs. They had this American. They were torturing him, and I guess the torture. I wanted to shoot. I didn't know who to shoot, and there was so many VCs down there. And I even wanted to shoot myself there for a minute. And I started crying, because it's so emotional, everything. And the guy's yelling and screaming, and you don't know. I didn't know the guy. He was American. That's all I knew. And they were just the torture. I ain't gonna talk about it because I don't want to. People think I'm crazy or something. But the torture they were doing to him, you don't know what to do, and you start bawling and stuff like that because you don't know what to do, who to shoot. Sometimes you even want to shoot yourself. But we did crazy things over there. One time, me and my people, I was a sergeant over there. I told them, if you guys stay here, I'm gonna crawl myself in that Vietnam VC camp there. So I crawled myself in there with no gun, no nothing. This was crazy. I thought I was crazy. And I had a grenade, so I planted a grenade in this. They were cooking some rice in this kettle, and they had a lid on it. So I put the grenade underneath that kettle, and I crawled myself out of there real quiet. And after a while, boom! We heard that boom, And we said, let's get out of here. There was only like maybe 6 of us, team. And we crawled out of there. It was nuts. So we used to do crazy things. I mean, that's probably why I was a tunnel rat. Did crazy things. And then being a wild horse racer, that's crazy too anyway. Get your head kicked in. Like one time I pulled my arm out in Rapid City. But I didn't quit. We were using those 1,600-pound horses down there, Jim Sutherland. And I got caught my arm on the rope and yanked my arm out, and I knew it was out, And I didn't want to quit. And we placed 4th, so I had my left hand on that halter, and I had my 2 feet around that horse's head. And then Eric got saddled, and I fell down, and I could feel. But we placed 4th that day. You just get these crazy things in your head, you go crazy, you just do it, You don't want to stop, So that's the story, I guess. Anything else you want to tell me? Ask me? No?
I don't know, man. I think we got some good stuff. That's
Well, thank you.
Like I was saying, man. Tunnel rat. Tunnel rat.
You know what? I probably would never do that again like I did. Being a tunnel rat, it's crazy, It's like, I guess that's why I can't, snakes, I'll handle them, but they got to be, I got to get my head together before I can handle them, you know what I mean? But it just like those 1-2 step snakes they had over there in the rice paddies, they were only like this long, and they bite you. And then in Panama they had those little vine snakes. Those you could live for at least 24 hours, so you got to get out of the village. And then they give you a live chicken and a can of rice to survive, and they give you just a compass and a map. You know what I'm talking about.
They're in Hawaii, they brought people over, man. They're like, all right, we're gonna do jungle survival training. And at the end, man, they had some Philippines there, and they cut the head off of a snake, man. They make them drink the blood.
I know.
And they're like, all right, this is how you survive out here, man. And they were cutting heads off snakes, and they were drinking it, and we're surviving out there.
I know, it's survival.
Yeah, man.
Survival, and I think that's why I caught worms in my stomach from eating raunchy food over there. It's like I was telling them, we throw a grenade in the creeks, fish would come up. Yeah, and then we use the C4 out of Claymore Mines to cook. Well, you did the same thing, I know that.
That's what I tell them, man. I was like, I trust C4 way more than grenades, man. Grenades are sketchy. At least C4, you can do it to what you want it to do.
I know. Well, as long as you use a match and not a spark,
right.
That's the thing with C4. It's like, but that's how we drank coffee, and then we used our helmets for washing and everything. And we used to, half the guys would jump in the creek and take baths. They give us a 101 rations up there. Candy bars and I think soap and cigars and cigarettes and I don't know what, I'll bet. That's how I learned to smoke cigarettes, to burn the leeches off, It's crazy. Everything we done over there is nuts.
Do you remember your last day in Vietnam?
Last day, the first sergeant didn't want me to come back. I jumped the chopper and I was out of there. I went to Allen, signed out, and I went to Cameron Bay, and I was trying to bring a carbine back, so I dismounted, stuck in my legs. I got caught in Cameron Bay. It's like, man, you know how that goes. They wanted to pour the pressure on me, but of course, I was a fighter over there, and then I was quarantined in California, and I ran around with boxer shorts, socks, and a t-shirt on. And I went outside and they had these guards out there, chain link fence. I said, what's going on here? It's like you're in prison,
Yeah.
And you got to get rid of everything because otherwise you can't even call home. So this is like crazy stuff. And then we hit the bar right after we released. First thing we went in that bar because all we wanted is a drink. It was a gay bar. We seen that in there. Woo! Right out the door. It was crazy. Okay, it took me like a year and 3 to 4 months to get my first Bronze Star and an Air Medal. And then it took me like 8 years later with General Spence. He presented the second Bronze Star to me with the 115th. And there in Cheyenne with the National Guard. And I thought it was kind of crazy giving me these Bronze Stars kind of way back. And I really didn't think I deserved it, but, that's fine, But I did accept them, though. So that's kind of neat. Something different. This is really great for us, for the Vietnam vets.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I feel good coming here. I'm glad I came because get to talk to a lot of vets here, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
So and then volunteer for you guys, so that's great too. I mean, I got to be doing.